You should be grateful men want me. She smirked after letting a coworker kiss her cheek. I said, you're right, and left the party. By morning, I'd moved out. She called a week later. The coworker had a girlfriend the whole time. I said, guess you should be grateful I wanted you. I never thought my life would unravel and reassemble itself in the span of a single winter night. But here we are. My name's Daniel, and for 3 years I dated a woman named Brooke who believed her reflection was the beginning and end of the universe. When we first met, she was magnetic in the way lightning is, beautiful to look at, dangerous to get close to, and impossible to convince that anything wasn't about her. At first, I thought that energy was confidence. Later, I realized it was hunger, the kind that never gets full. Brooke needed attention like oxygen, and I was the steady, reliable boyfriend who made her life easier and quieter and comfortable. But comfort wasn't what she wanted. She wanted audience applause, constant and loud. The slow decay of us didn't happen in a single moment. It happened in 1,000 tiny ones. Like how she'd tell baristas they must have a crush because they spelled her name right. Or how she'd complain if a waiter didn't flirt. Or how she'd get irritated at me if I didn't hype up her selfies immediately after she posted them. It all felt childish at first, like a phase she'd grow out of. But she didn't grow out of it. She grew into it, like a costume she didn't plan to take off. Things only truly snapped once her new coworker, Travis, entered the picture. According to her, he was the funniest man alive, the smartest guy in the office, the kind of person everyone gravitated toward. Suddenly, every dinner conversation was, Travis said this, or Travis noticed that. He became this ghost third wheel who sat at our table, without paying rent or washing dishes. One night, around 11 p.m., she was giggling at her phone while I was sorting through bills, my weekly ritual because 85% of the rent came from my paycheck. When I asked who she was texting, she said, just Travis, like it was no big deal. Like the fact that she was laughing at another man's messages while I kept our lives running was something I should accept silently. When I told her it made me uncomfortable, she rolled her eyes and said I was insecure. That word, insecure, became her weapon of choice anytime I tried to set a boundary. It was an easy dismissal, a get-out-of-jail-free card for her behavior. But the night that broke me was a holiday party. A black tie event, shiny floors, champagne fountains, and a room full of people I didn't know, but Brooke desperately wanted to impress. She wore a gold dress that must have cost half a paycheck. I remember thinking she looked beautiful. Because she did, but she barely acknowledged my compliment before telling me, please don't get weird tonight. Travis will be there. We walked in, and 10 minutes later, she was glued to him like I'd faded out of existence. He hugged her too long, whispered in her ear, made her laugh the way she hadn't laughed with me in months. And she let him. I kept trying to tell myself I was imagining the tension, that maybe I was being too sensitive, but that delusion only survived until I saw him lean in, press his lips against her cheek, and let his hand linger on her waist like he owned it. She didn't flinch. She didn't step away. She didn't even pretend to be surprised. I felt something inside me go eerily calm, like a flame suddenly running out of oxygen. I walked up, told her we were leaving, and instead of acknowledging what had just happened, she sneered at me in front of everyone. God, Daniel, stop being so pathetic. You should be grateful men want me. It makes you look good. That was it. That was the moment the last thread snapped. I looked at her, really looked at her, and realized she believed it. She believed she was doing me a favor by letting me stand next to her. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I handed her the coat ticket, told her she was right, and walked out of the ballroom feeling more awake than I had in 3 years. That night, I packed every essential I owned, loaded my dog, Milo, into my car, and left. There was no dramatic goodbye letter, no confrontation, no ceremony, just absence. Her absence from my life began with her absence from her own responsibilities, and I decided to match it. By the time she got home from the party, my key was on the counter, and I was gone. Her first texts were angry, then confused, then desperate, then furious again when she realized I'd removed myself from the shared credit card and taken Milo with me. A week later, when the silence finally broke, it wasn't because she missed me or realized she treated me like garbage. It was because Travis had a girlfriend, A serious girlfriend. The kind who wasn't stupid enough to tolerate a flirt-happy coworker pretending to be single. When Brooke found out, she called 23 times in one day from different numbers. I finally picked up once, mostly because I needed to hear the apology I knew she'd never give. Instead, she said, he had a girlfriend the whole time. He used me. Her voice cracked like she expected me to comfort her. Instead, all I said was, guess you should be grateful I wanted you. And hung up. She exploded after that. Accusations, insults, apologies, bargaining. Then more insults when apologies didn't work. But I stayed gone. I stayed silent. The fallout was spectacular. Travis denied everything, called her misinterpreting things, then went straight to HR to protect himself. She ended up suspended and then fired. Without my income, she lost the apartment within a month. She burned through her savings posting Instagram stories about self-care while secretly sleeping on her friend's couch. And then, when those friends got tired of her attitude, she tried one more time to find me. Showed up outside my office pretending she finally understood everything. She cried. She said she wanted to come home. She said she realized I love her more than anyone ever had. She said she'd change. But even then, even with tears on her cheeks and her life collapsing behind her, the entitlement slipped through. Right when she thought I was cracking, she said, "You're lucky I'm even asking to come back. Most guys would kill to be with me." That was when I knew walking away wasn't just the right decision. It was the only decision. I told her I didn't want a life where my worth depended on how many strangers checked her out. I told her she wasn't a prize, and I wasn't a consolation. And as I walked back into the building, she shouted after me, demanding I reconsider, as if she still believed the world revolved around her. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. It's been 6 months since then. I got my own place, a quiet condo near a park where Milo and I go on long walks. My finances stabilized. My sleep came back. The constant anxiety, the walking on eggshells feeling, vanished like it had never belonged to me. And then, slowly, something unexpected happened. I started to feel human again. A few weeks ago, at a friend's barbecue, I met someone. Her name's Emily. She's not flashy or dramatic or obsessed with being watched. She listens when I talk. She laughs with her whole face. When I told her about Milo, she asked to see pictures, not to compliment herself for being good with dogs, but because she genuinely thought he looked adorable. We've been talking since, no pressure, no games, just presence. It feels peaceful, and I didn't realize how much I miss peace until I had it again. Brooke taught me a lot in the worst possible ways. She taught me the difference between being admired and being valued. She taught me how lonely it is to be with someone who needs the whole world to love them because they can't love themselves. But most importantly, she taught me my worth, because for years she acted like I didn't have any. Now I know better. Now I know I'd rather be alone than be someone's safety net. I'd rather have quiet than chaos. I'd rather have real than performative. Maybe she was right about one thing. Though, maybe I really should be grateful that I walked away before she dragged me down with her. Grateful that she showed me exactly what I never want again. Grateful that losing her meant getting myself back. And for that lesson, I guess I am grateful.